B-Step claim game number 1 versus Team 8, and importantly, only the second game they have won yet in Part 2, so a really important victory for them. Yes, B-Step are in the middle of the standings, but so far having a really tough time making waves, getting started in Part 2.
And then Team 8 had the same thing, but no way in hell would I have told you of today would have started with a best of 5 where No Tomorrow upsets Gale Force Esports, but then we're going to start off the next series where somehow B-Step ends up beating Team 8 in Game 1.
Teams like Warhead Junction, Cho'Gall's being picked in Korea. This is a new world.
Dragonshire's the #1 North American map. I mean, things are changing.
They are changing. Let's see where the next battleground will be since Dragonshire is out of the way already in this series. Tomb of the Spider Queen. Another B-Step pick, too.
Both of those more laning-centric maps for a team who does not draft very lane-focused. I just, you know, another one of those moments where it's a beautiful, just, I don't know, something, power, just that it seems to show up with, like, you know, a team like B-Step where it's like they like the Kerrigan, or they like the Trondas, they like the blow-up compositions thing. You know what? We're going to draft first map on Dragonshire. I mean, it won, and it worked out for them, but that whole early game,
the whole game,
was just teammate just bodying, and it goes, if you win one miraculous fight, you got a shot. And they did, and they won it. But it just, I don't know if I doubled down on that and go, you know what I need to do? I need to go to another lane-focused map.
That's exactly what happened to B-Step at the beginning of Part 1. Do you remember they would be down whole Infernal Shrining's game?
Artana swap into a 5-man mosh.
Hey, what if we got a 5-man mosh pit?
Dude, 3-2-3 striking, man. I'm telling you, we figured it out. I'm not letting it go. I like the whole, you know, Ancient Aliens, like.
You are a conspiracy theorist. Yeah. That I do know about you, my friend. You love a good, not that you believe them, you just love
I love a good one. No, seriously, I'm the dude who, like, you know, I watch hours of, like, the most mid-tier just documentary possible, purely on the fact that I want to be able to argue to you as to why I can confirm that there are killer aliens that live in the Bermuda Triangle.
We, in fact, did not land on the moon.
No, yeah, something like that, yeah. I don't know. Something about it gets me going. But Tomb of the Spider Queen for this game, I'm still leaning towards Team 8. You know, one team fight's not enough to convince me. You know, it gets you a win in a game, and yes, sometimes that is going to happen, but I'm still feeling like Team 8 very heavily should take control. B-Step's got to make adjustments in the draft, I think, if that's going to change in any way.
Tomb of the Spider Queen is where we saw B-Step bring on Judgment, Ring of Frost, Sulfurous Smash.
Yes.
Probably not going to be there this time. We're just about ready to get in the draft. But before we do so, in case you missed it, first of all, thank you for joining us. Second of all, Heroes 2.0 is launching in a matter of days, and we have a live stream to celebrate it. It'll be on Tuesday, April 25th, starting at 11 a.m. PDT. We'll get to see some Genji, we'll get to talk more about Hanamura, and there's even going to be a new hero reveal. And an awesome cinematic reveal, too.
It's exciting. We got matches of pro teams playing on Hanamura. Me and Kaldor will be talking about those games, learning alongside all of you on how to play the new map.
Even the players, which is very fun to see them figure things out from game to game. It's not just one game. It's a full, I think, 5 games set up as well. So I'm pumped to see that. I'm excited to hear you guys commentate it as well. It's going to be a blast. Now back to the matter at hand.
The matter at hand, where B-Step is currently up in a series over Team 8.
They are.
I just can't get over it, man. 2 upsets in one day would be, this drastic would be unheard of. All of North America would be shaken.
I would tell all of any HGC to go buy a lottery ticket or something, right? Like that's like the level of craziness. But yeah, it is just one game in, though, of this best of 5. Team 8, again, was controlling all of the game number 1 on Dragonshire. I don't think Team 8 will be too shaken from this. They say it's just one game. We do the same thing before. We make sure that we control the lanes, and we put the pressure on B-Step to perform like they had to do in the last game.
Yeah, and they did very, very well. It's just, I think a lot of this is the draft. B-Step knows the draft is a problem. They know that. That was the one thing when talking to McIntyre that I took from, I mean, we went through a long, different topics and everything, but the first thing right out the gates, he was like, yeah, our drafting is just not very good. We've got to figure something out. You know, we don't know totally exactly what we want to do, what our play style is, what we're best at. Even, I mean, we know the roles have been swapping here left and right, so they know that that's going to be a problem, which makes me optimistic that that would be the first thing where they go, this is a problem, we change this, let's go. Nobody's holding ties to, you know, preference of certain picks or anything of the like.
And what about teammate on Tomb of the Spider Queen? Have we seen too much? I don't think we've seen any here in Part 2. Before, they've been playing a lot of Ragnaros, but that's really every single battleground for teammate, too.
Yeah, it was like Ragnaros was a staple for every single team, and then even more so for teammate with Prismaticism. So it was like almost every map they would first pick it. You know, he was so strong at the time, it made a lot of sense. Almost no cases where he would struggle. But we have found ourselves a Tomb of the Spider Queen draft.
This was battleground choice by B-Step. Team 8 have first pick, first ban. Easy choice to ban Zarya. Should be the same for B-Step to ban Tassier.
46 seconds is what it took us in the first draft. I'm counting.
At least it's a hover this time.
At least, yeah, you know, at least they give you the old hover.
Hoveroon, as you would say.
Hoveroon. Is there any other reason for any other ban? I mean, to be frank, no. Not right now in this position, especially with the Zarya banned out. I can see arguments when Zarya is not banned from the first pick slot, to just being like, I think Tass is a bigger risk, but I can see you being like, nah, we can actually outplay this.
So if Tass ban goes through, then Malfurion first pick for Buds?
Yes, I'm trying to figure out if they have to prioritize somebody higher.
Arthas?
Well, I'm thinking more for the weakness of the hero pools than I am about the draft itself. Specifically, it would be Glarung and Prismaticism. Who are they going to play? Glarung has a wider array of heroes that he can play since he did in 2016 and even in Part 1, but they are all good on big maps. And almost every one of them is only good on big maps. When they get to small maps, a lot of those strategies die off, especially on Tomb. There's not a single hero in Glarung's arsenal that you say Tomb of the Spider Queen, outside of maybe Kerrigan. If you're going to make the Kerrigan argument, you would make the Medivh one. You would make the same Medivh argument.
How about Greymane?
Yes, but Greymane works on every single map. That is fair. That is a fair counter argument. You could say Greymane, but how many times have they resorted to Greymane?
I think we'll know if Greymane gets pushed up further, and it's in the next rotation for teammate, if they're at all concerned about that.
B-Step on the other side. Deep once more into the draft. Where do they come out? Murden is in this rotation, if things hold true. Nope. They've just had such high value there. They are going to go with the Gul'dan and the Lucio.
That is quite a switch.
That's a good old double support right there, boys. Don't you think? The only reason at the Greymane pickup, by the way, nailed it. But so the high Lucio, why does that say double support? It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a double support. It really doesn't. But just the Lucio over the Gul'dan, most teams would wait. For a team that last picks their support almost every single game, and then to pick Lucio that insanely high shows that they are like, we're not worried about what's the best support, because Ariel's still there. You can't outban good supports with the Gul'dan. So this is straight up just a heavy lean towards the double support strategy.
Is it a lean because they want to get it, or because they're trying to force teammate to ban Ariel?
That's one of those things where only B-Step will know. You know, you got to take that as like if teammate bans Ariel, it's a win. That's how I view it. It's like if you either don't ban it and I win, or you ban it and I win.
That sounds like a win.
You've been working on those deduction skills, haven't you? Just.
I'm glad you noticed.
There's the Ariel ban. Can you tell me, Gilly, what is that?
An Ariel ban. What do you mean, what is that?
I'm done.
A win.
I'm done. It's too late.
It's been a long day.
I'm out.
What an open-ended question. All right, guys. We're just going to continue on with the drafting. Oh, my gosh. Cho'Gall was picked.
I have my headset on, you dingus. All right, so what do we have now? Lucio, it's got to be double. Ario, well, now that Ario is banned out, doesn't have to be, but you did get a free ban. How are you going to make up for this?
We've only seen them run the double support with Ario.
For B-Step specifically?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ario Lucio on Inferno Shrines versus Team Freedom yesterday.
I mean, Arthas is still up. Murden is still a thing.
They did run, yeah, Ario Mouth, though, too. But it always has Ario. I think they'll deviate, but I could be wrong.
There's the Arthas. Tyrael. Okay. So that is going to be 2 possible solos, but not built to be solo heroes. But, I mean, teammates sitting at the same position, so it's fine. Not any longer. And we got ourselves a Chromie with no cleanse for B-Step. Chromie single-handedly changed the audio levels.
I would think that it would be Lucio who does that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm an audio medic, right? That's his line. What is his last pick?
I'm not sure.
I actually don't know either. I don't even know. Like, backliner is going to be the safest choice. But who? Greymane taken away. All is up, but not outstanding. Not bad.
Tychus? I'm rocking out over here, man.
I think Tychus, I like Tychus most. I think I like the Tychus pickup. Somebody who can deal with Chromie a little bit when it comes to the, you know, if she tries to all-in you. Falstad.
We forgot the B-Step effect.
The B-Step effect, huh?
They're loving Falstad right now.
They are, and, you know, I mean, K1 Pro not playing that anymore, but if somehow they do flex him over there, he is a terrifying. Falstad was the player who made it rise to the top of the meta in North America. It's not necessarily a Falstad map, but I don't think it's bad. Falstad really doesn't have a bad situation that, you know, no map where I'm like, I don't know. It's just more of, does it do well into the Chromie, into the Greymane? Not really. Both those heroes, outside of when Falstad's directly on top of Chromie, should actually lose in a 1v1.
Let's talk about Chromie versus Lucio. When it's been Chromie versus Auriel in the past, then Temporal Loop on this battleground specifically was very good. Scary for a team to deal with. Is the same
yeah, they do it.
Apply?
You give Temporal Loop here rather than going with the Slowing Sands. Based on, especially because the mobility can be soft countered. The Slowing Sands can be countered by Lucio's speed, and then the Smite coming out too. There's a lot of things that counter that directly, but it's mainly the lack of cleanse. But with the only reason I can see why you want it is only Sanctification. That's the only tool where I'm like, you know, but if I Temporal Loop anybody and I got a Sanct out of it, that is so good.
Especially because you have an Entomb right behind that, right?
Yeah, I mean, but then it would force the Gust. There's a lot of just counter initiation when it comes to the heroic choice in the teams, but I do look at both Entomb and Temporal Loop are, other than Gust, if you get any ult, win. Just a win. Like, you should be able to take the team fight after, as long as you don't just fight directly into it.
Yeah, I think these team fights are going to be really exciting, so let's check out and see how they work. We're ready for game number 2 with B-Step in the lead in the series.
Casually dropping the pen.
It's been a pin dropping kind of day.
It's been just all over the place. It really has. It's been tugging at my heart feels. It's been tugging at my brain and understanding.
Your brain feels.
North America.
It has. It has been a really fun day to be here at HGC. I'm pumped. Still pumped to be here. Who's playing Falstad? McIntyre.
Feels bad.
K1's playing Tyrael. That was a flex even before he was playing melees that K1 Pro would play.
He does feel about on par maybe slightly above average for North American Tyraels for the most part. When it comes to his sanctifications and the impact that has on the team. I would like to see Tyrael as the solo laner over Arthas. So have him kind of be one off in his own deal with the Leoric. Tyrael is insanely good into Leo. And honestly, if B-Step knew that they were going to go into the Leoric once more and pick the Tyrael solely to be able to deal with that, that was a very next level draft rotation.
This is Prismaticism playing Chromie and Yoda playing Leo. Glauren playing his Greymane as he gets taken out for first blood. But some more flexing from teammate, which has been a question for us, and had been even in part 1. A lot of times being able to get a lot of their favorite heroes. We wanted to know how far those hero pools went.
Yeah, and one thing to note as well, especially when it comes to Glauren post part 1, where he busted out the Medivh for weeks 1, 2, and 3. Everybody was astounded. Nobody could deal with it. Other teams started playing it, dealing with it, drafting around it, and then Glauren resorted back to his comfort pick. Since that, on part 2, he's been playing a lot of the Dahaka, and now going on to the Greymane, more of the more meta heroes, but not Glauren heroes. You know, the Zeratul, Kerrigan, Illidan, things of the like. And I gotta be honest, his performance when not on his heroes, his comfort heroes, has been significantly weaker. Especially like the Dahakas are the ones that stand out the most as just getting caught out a lot when getting the side soak. And so I'm now Glauren not on a side soak hero, a just solid, you know, micro focus, a hero that he should be able to do pretty well on. I've got a lot of eyes on him.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to see how he plays this Greymane, especially how if he chooses go for the throat too. Prismaticism forcing McIntyre to try to juke and jive versus these skill shots. It's always cool to see a Chromie versus a Gul'dan too, especially if these Scarabs keep showing the positioning of Gul'dan. But anytime iDream wants to drain life to be able to give him some more life after life tapping, Prismaticism will be watching for any time iDream tries to sit still.
Laning phase once again controlled here by Team 8. They just draft better around it. They're winning the 1, they're winning the 4. Things are working out for them here in the second game. But we know B-Step to have miracle team fights, and they've got a draft that can do exactly that here, even in this game.
For now, they have to play back. They do almost have enough gems to turn in, but haven't started putting any in the bank yet. Teammate with control solidly over the top 2 lanes has been able to just walk through, drop off some gems as they rotate. Even Malfurion doing that, trying to hang out.
Barung there with a nice sidestep. I thought for a moment might get caught out. He's going to be just fine. The chase of the laning phase here for B-Step, it is so hard to deal with, you know, when you fall behind into the 4. And B-Step here with their drafts for the most part have really seemed to feel that. Kaon Pro has done a decent job on bottom. Only 1 turret's gotten drained so far.
Talent of note for Chromie, generally this build is followed up with Dragon's Eye with 25% increased damage in the center of Dragon's Breath. This instead is Mobius Loop. Drops the damage by 25%, but reduces the mana and cooldown by 50%. Generally you see the Dragon's Eye because you want to have that blast of damage after a Temporal Loop. Does this make us think that maybe Slowing Sands is still the choice? Yeah,
that immediately makes me feel like, okay, so you're going Slowing Sands build. You know, Temporal Loop, it makes a lot more sense to go for that bonus damage. Just because you can bank on it, and so the fact that they went for the W, it's more delay, more buying time, and more poke around the Slowing Sands, so they're going to go for it. We'll see how it works. Does that mean, do they cocoon?
They did last game.
I don't know. Well, I'm trying to figure it out here because now looking at it, you know, a lot of these picks are very European.
Who would you cocoon though? Because you have both Tyrael with Sanctification if you want to stop those defensive capabilities, but then you have Sound Barrier with Lucio too.
It's a tough one. I think it would make more sense to try and stop the Lucio heroic, or excuse me, the Tyrael heroic than it, or no, probably the Lucio. Because that one's easier to be identified. Everybody can kind of split up. Whereas Sanct, at least they have to be stacked. But Sanct is invulnerable. That's a tough one.
Yeah, you can burst through the shields, but not through the Sanct. We'll see if that's the choice. Cocoon, or if we get Locust Swarm this game. Slowing Sands was the choice, and that is enabling Prismaticism and friends to siege down the towers along with the first Web Weavers of the game.
It's gotten a lot done here. The front wall keeping people busy.
Yeah.
Top wall looking all right. Leoric is just doing his thing up on bottom, and with the prep he had already, I imagine that things are only getting worse in the bottom lane here for B-Step.
Yeah, this gives a good, considerable experience advantage to Team 8, and they're looking for trying to hit heroic abilities far enough ahead of B-Step that they can get a second turn-in in a row. They have 43 gems now, so they still need to build up a few more gems in their collection. Only 8 have been turned in. B-Step holding on to 81 gems. And Team 8 have done it. They have a full level to try to get the gems they need, the 10 more, and get a turn-in.
That's a Cocoon onto a Tyrael? The follow-up roots should be enough, and the mobility there. It's only the roots that I'm worried about, just because the Q, that's 24 gems out. Going to be zoned off here for Team 8, but B-Step still have enough for a turn-in. They still are going to be able to turn those in up on top. So we see Calf start it. Ooh, that's interrupted now.
Falstat's flying, Buds checks it out. Teammates stall for now. B-Step trying to get heroics, trying to get Web Weavers before this game snowballed out of their control.
They will be able to pick it up. The double turn-in dream is not real here for Teammate yet. One more, there it is. So 10 is up. B-Step need to be able to stop the turn and try and force one of their own to be able to come back. Wraith walk in, and Tomb drops. The combo is there.
And he used Army for that. A lot of gems dropped.
21, now gone. Putting them almost out of range to be able to get a next turn in. They do have enough. Losing just one more stacked member, especially one like APM, 23.
Chromie's keeping eyes on bottom. Teammate have played out this middle phase very well, but they do have bruisers pushing against them in that mid. Still, all the delays, the Scarabs, the Chromie skill shots have netted them victory. A second Web Weaver phase as they try to push out the lanes as far as they can and take out forts.
How much can Teammate get done here? They want a minimum of 2 forts. Keep B-Step busy, buy a bit of time, which they're going to be able to do here through middle. There goes an entomb on a cap once more. Cocoon.
Sound barrier for Lucio buys some time. Falstat's broken out of the Cocoon, and all the members of Teammate show up to mid. Horrify pushes Gul'dan, or Cremain in. Sanctification used too, but not to too much effect.
That was just a lot of heroics, you know? Teammate was like, hey, we would like your fort. And B-Step was like, first, let us do a dance of the heroics in front of you. And they did. And then they conveniently gave B-Step the fort after.
Fancy, but not paying off just yet for B-Step.
Yeah, they're going to have better timing there with those major game-changing heroics, but also long cooldowns. They're going to have a shot here in this game. They once again drafted a mid-tier laning phase composition, fell apart in the early game.
But I mean,
this is just
like
what we know.
Horrify, you can always hit the perfect one of that and then get a ton of kills off of it. So B-Step still has the capabilities. Even something like a Fly Gust, right? They always have the capabilities with these kinds of heroic abilities because of these players that we have on B-Step's side.
Talking about a Fly Gust, one might be needed. We got half the equation here. The flight. Is the Gust going to be the dream? Teammate backs out. Ice Block's going to be on cooldown here. B-Step just really, you know, realizing that it was a problem, but smart play from Teammate, just going, we don't want anything to do with this.
Especially once they saw Army pop.
Yeah. Disengage the Army and now look to reinitiate with the Cocoon. Is Buzz there for the root?
Watch
Not yet.
Yoda. He catches him with Entomb, but McIntyre barrel rolls right out of that. King Caffeine taking damage from Glaurung for Prismaticism. Arthas taken out.
Team 8 is just obliterating and outplaying VSEP right here in this game. You know, after what happened, man, after what happened the first game, I just never feel like I can count B-Step out here. I just go, you know, teammate, you keep doing your thing and all, and it's looking good. I see where you're going, what you're trying to make happen.
It's not over.
But where's the point where B-Step just goes, all right, guys, let's press the R's. Okay, now we can end.
5-man team wipe. It's not over until the core falls. That is for sure when you're playing versus B-Step.
Yoda did get that interrupt at least, and he makes it out. So worth.
K1 Pro almost gets there, Impaled goes out, does not connect. So finally, a reprieve, a small one for B-Step. They still have to deal with the top boss, but they get some Web Weavers.
The Web Weavers, do they have a secondary turn-in immediately after? No, they do not. They are still going to be a bit away. Maybe with a couple more mini waves, they'll be able to catch up closer. But for now, B-Step, this is all they have in the world of turn-ins. So it's not like they can rebuttal in the experience that they're struggling to have right now. Teammates should be able to pick up the 16. It's right at that threshold where it's actually just far enough away where B-Step might be able to force this.
Yeah, they're clearing out the bottom Web Weaver. The top one still has some health. That's really the only point of contention for B-Step. And they understand it. They're starting to get set up around this. Slowing Sands already zoning. How did B-Step approach this fight? K1 Pro is looking for the side. Takes out the time trapped if he wanted to flank. Web Weaver is down. Team 8 close in on 16.
B-Step closed in on that secondary turn-in, but still it is out of reach. Not the same case for Team 8. Once they pick up that 16, expect them to all in, try and force a turn-in. B-Step stops them at all. They will look for the free fight. B-Step not getting the Howling Blast there. Seals the deal. What can Team 8 make happen?
What do we see for Gray Main? Executioner? There's a lot of slows and roots and stuns. Yes, Executioner. Still waiting on a new Barak 16.
What is he gonna go? I mean, when you take the 7,
yeah,
it's gotta be
usually you get
Epicenter.
Epicenter. I haven't seen much debilitation. I thought we would. The spell power reduction.
Oh, when he hits a target?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just the insane amount of offense and defense you can play, even if you only hit one target with Epicenter, really makes it like, you know, it's like a soft rewind.
Yeah, it's hard
16.
to give up so much control.
Yeah, and the utility, just, you know, no matter what heroic choice you take, it's really awesome.
So 16 advantage for Team 8 as they once again put Slowing Sands on the gate and begin the siege. Taking down towers in front of keeps, trying to make sure that every lane pushes as hard as they can. Since they paid a lot of gems to make this happen, they are going to be down for quite a while.
They do get the keep from Waldo, and bottom is still very, very healthy. Members are going to have to move on to that for B-Step. So can teammate take advantage of the, you know, power spike they have? The Web Weavers? No, the double melee Chromie, you know, Greymane is the only hero that can really do damage to structures very well.
Yeah, it'd be great for B-Step if they're able to keep all their keeps alive, because there's 29 gems. There's a long time where B-Step can get 16 if they can just stop this siege. Cocoon's gonna be dealt with.
Oh, K1 Pro took a lot of damage there. Forces the sound barrier.
And Gust.
That should be enough for this keep to go down. This is where teammates should just all in it, because they know with those cooldowns. Man, you see them, they feel the same way, but they don't. Even being with a member backed, 2 ults down, and they still are like, is this the time? Do we go?
Just a few more skill shots. It is scary still with Horrify as a possibility. 16 almost here, B-Step. would love to step in, but without that, not quite feeling the confidence to do so. Teammate makes it out.
BSEP does have enough for a turn-in, though. So can they win this fight without losing enough gems and be able to get that turn-in? Even if they do, all forts are available. Every structure still stands for Teammate. It's really going to make this turn-in that much harder. McIntyre dodges the delay. He's got 40 gems on himself just alone.
16 is an important point for B-Step. They finished Seasoned Marksman, and now they have Holy Ground.
They had Greymane showing that
Rejuvenescencia.
entire time, and they still didn't force. I'm trying to figure out what BSEP's game plan is here, because they knew Greymane was top for so long, and they still didn't want to try and force. They wanted to try and get a free turn in, and then they looked to gank him, Glowing backed out, and then this is where we have found ourselves. Just being a man down, the fact that they weren't willing to all in that fight, let Chromie poke out for so long, makes me really scared of the mentality of B-Step right now.
Are they trying to get in a fight in any particular location, maybe?
I mean, it would definitely benefit them to not be in any chokehold, especially with Cocoon. Any open territory, their composition will be really effective. Fortify is really neat and all, but Entomb, Twilight Dream, those are stuff that it's just not worth the risk. Did they get enough space? Not yet. 31 have been turned in there.
That might be the fear too, is they've already lost quite a few gems, not wanting to fight until they can get rid of some of them.
Yeah, that could be it too. Fawcett actually pushed off Greymane, showing the focus on a 20 here for Teammate, that they really want to get level 20.
48 gems being held by McIntyre.
Conveniently, he has enough to solo turn in at least, so everybody else can at least zone. K1 Pro, and Nopes out there pretty quickly.
Here's the start of the turn-in. It's been spotted by Chromie.
They can't. Here we go. 20, it will be achieved though, so Teammate only forfeiting the turn-in once they do know they'll have the 20 spike.
The bottom push is good though. It had the Giants there that McIntyre stole. Web Weaver will be running right up to the point. I made that sentence as difficult as I possibly could for myself.
I've honestly, I was gonna say I've seen worse, but I have actually done worse, so I think you'll be all right. The 18 into 20. That is about the, honestly, it's not the best fight BSEP's gonna get this game, but it's really the only one that they could get and stand a chance at really winning outside of some insane, very late game fight. Because they are going to be crippled when it comes to boss. They do have better boss control post 20, so maybe that's what they're waiting for. But with this turn-in, that was essentially a majority of the gems they have. Teammate has 20 advantage. They will have nearly enough for a turn-in after this.
Yeah.
Exact amount. So B-Step, yes, you got the turn-in, but only one fort. Got to make it worth it here in this weird limbo pre-20.
They start with their bruisers. Turn-in phase for Teammate. Straight, no even attempt for trying to boss. Oh, as I say that, they start to head up. So yeah, boss turn-in. Teammate are looking to pull the trigger.
Scouted out. Boss is still very, very healthy. There goes a Cocoon. That going down. Good roots. Lucio's going to survive. So, B-Step. Man, even after those two heroics used, still going to retreat. They just wanted to get him off the boss. They're willing to try and take that 20 later on.
They did get them off the boss, so it's just Web Weavers, no Web Weaver plus boss. Start with defending top lane. The other two have a little ways to go. Teammate want a keep along with this push, knowing they still have this full level advantage. B-Step are nowhere near getting their 20 yet.
Howling Blast onto 2. Keeps now going to be falling even without the Web Weaver. As the rest of the Web Weavers on the map trying to eke their way across. As long as teammate can keep them busy, making things work. All right, so now how many people respond to mid? Falstad and Gul'dan's looking to go bottom, so there's the top keep. And bottom is going to be cleared up fast enough. So only a keep to be gained by Team 8. 20 is still out of reach. This is actually a situation where not killing the Web Weaver on bottom is smart. Based on the fact that Team 8 can't take a boss until that Web Weaver's killed. Which is why iDream's actually not killing him. Love it. Because the positioning originally that Team 8 was at, they could have instantly backed down boss, and then BSEP would never have taken that with the 20. It's still an insane risk for Team 8 to take that boss, but it's still just anytime, you know, if you can stop your opponent from getting a miraculous play, why let them even have the opportunity?
Team 8 so far haven't looked like they want to try to make that rotation. They're still just sitting around doing the same poking that have netted them the other two keeps on BSEP side of the map. But BSEP of 20, they're ready to fight. Nice holy ground catches Glaurung. Gust pushes them back. King Caffeine dives in. Is this the miracle fight? Once again, the BSEP won them the game in the last time.
They get one kill, no Twilight, or why the Twilight Dream Sanctification still there. There it goes, it drops, saving Arthas. Buds ends up going down to 1-for-1 for now. APM trying to get out, Glaurung chasing him down. Meanwhile, McIntyre and Justin Calf gets the Howling Blast, gets the pick. Glaurung even got the even trade. 4-for-1, BSEP has found the miracle fight once more.
How do they do this?
I don't know. To be honest, I really don't. Like, the Holy Ground, things look good. The Gust, I was like, you know, the 3-man Howling Blast, I was like, this is the moment. And then it wasn't until the Twilight Dream hit and got the kill, I was like, or almost got a kill, I was like, yeah, that's enough. I thought by stopping the Sanctification, they would have the tools. I mean, don't get me wrong, BSEP has an insane teamfight composition, but with just that much control over Team 8, I just didn't think there was a chance. But again, we're back to BSEP versus Team 8, man.
This is fish in a barrel situation if I've ever seen one. Prismaticism starts throwing in skill shots. She can get anybody low enough. So far, BSEP's avoiding them. Leoric is back. McIntyre, Gus, Chromie into the Entomb.
The Horrify hits one, they get it. That is Yoda Wraith walking out. They have the Web Weavers going as well if they get this boss. But they lose Falstad. Will they lose the boss? Oh, the boss is beating them. The Twilight Dream!
Sound barrier too. They're trying. King Caffeine's still in here, but there's 3 members of Team 8 on the point too. Glaurung's keeping in the whirlwind. Subs APM. Oh no, for BSEP. Cocoon takes him off of the point, and he'll get brought down out of it. Full team wipe from Team 8, and they steal the boss.
Well met. Team 8 suddenly is able to turn it around after the desperation boss play, saying, you know what, we are not giving up full control over this game like we did the last. They're done with it. They just need to be done with it about 2 more times if they're going to be able to take this series, because I feel like that's just BSEP's thing now.
You back them in a corner and they unleash themselves. Everything from the flight Gust on was crazy. Insanity.
It was just...
Chromie was like, yeah, and Entomb's like, hello? No.
Trapping her, and they get the pick. It's just BSEP's banking on the impossible, and they're nearly getting it. They got it in one game, didn't in the other. I've never seen a team this reliable on such crazy of a late game and so passive of a mid and early game.
I guess it's time to draft ETC and give us a 5-man mosh. We're gonna head to a commercial break, guys. Thanks for hanging with us. When we come back, game number 3 between